Formerly known as Bukedi, Tororo district is one of the districts that already existed at independence in 1962. It then consisted of present-day Palisa and Busia district. In 1980, Bukedi became Tororo district. Today on the NBS Agribusiness Show, we travel to Tororo to witness the rising trends in agriculture, specifically in fish farming. There are currently an estimated 12,000 farmers involved in aquaculture with improved market prices for fish. Government intervention for increased production and stagnating supply from capture fisheries, aquaculture has begun to attract entrepreneurial farmers seeking to exploit the business opportunity provided by the prevailing demand for fish. But contrary to what many farmers settle for when they join the fish farming business, for the Bamukwase Rock Valley Fish Farm, it is a different story. Their investments into the fisheries sector goes to the hatcheries. Bamukwase Rock Valley Fish Farm is a registered company that is operating in the eastern region of the country, Tororo district, and among its agricultural activities is the training of fish farmers, fish pond construction, pond stocking, fish seed production, as well as fish seed and fish feed delivery. Getting deep into the story of the Bamukwase Rock Valley Fish Farm, we talked to Martin Nangoli, the farm's finance manager, who gave us an insight into the core reasons as to why they had to start up this fish breeding farm, a farm that they started in the year 1993.
I am Martin Nangoli and I work as a finance manager here at the Bamukwase Rock Valley Fish here in Tororo. We are a team of farmers that have come together to do fish. Number one, as a passion. Two, as an investment into improving the people's nutrition. Our primary goal is fish farming, and that is our main target, though we have other things that we do on the farm. We are seated on a 22-acre farm, and our main activity here is fishing. We don't grow fish table, but we do breeding of fingerlings. We supply farmers with the fish so that they grow to the table. I became part of this in 2016, but the farm had been was started by Pastor Elijah, who is the executive director, in 1993. Altogether, we have 8 field workers here. That includes the farm manager, hatchery operators, and field workers at the farm.
In the breeding of fish business, Martin boasts to how this has improved their farm's production, as well as widening their understanding of local fish breeding. Their dream is to produce 2 million fingerlings every year.
Doing our own, breeding our own fish has not only improved or increased the production at the farm, but it has increased our understanding and being more creative, because we simply come up, we bring up the knowledge that is there, and we make it, we put in our own creative. You see the boys play around with things, and you wonder whether they are going to produce or not. But sincerely, we are getting to what we want. We are dreaming at producing 2 million fingerlings every year.
Bamukwase Fish Farm, being a fish breeding farm, currently owns 22 ponds, and these include the nursing ponds, breeding ponds as well as reservoirs. The different types of fish that the farm deals in that include the tilapia, the miller carp and the catfish will also need to be kept separately from one another.
We have just increased to 22 ponds now. And why do we have so many ponds? We need many ponds because we have to have nursing ponds which are separate from breeding for ponds, from reservoirs. So all these things have different stages. And as well as you know that we have 3 types of fish here. We have tilapia, we have catfish and miller carp. So each type we are trying to put in their own home. So that is what we are trying to do. And all the ponds you are seeing are all preparations. If a customer called and said, I want fingerings, we will ask how many, when, and this is, we prepare them and put them, for example, in this nursing pond. And when they come, we find them ready. So that is why we have a number of ponds.
This here is Alan Muhanga, one of the 8 employees that work with Bamukwase Fish Farm. He is currently feeding the tilapia fish that will later be used as brooders. The feeding process, in his own explanation, will go on for 2 months and later they will be transferred to the breeding ponds.
My name is Alan Muhanga from Bamukwase Rock Valley Fish Farm. The process you're seeing right now is feeding process. We are feeding tilapia. What we have here is tilapia. We are raising them as our brooders for the next 2 months. We have to feed them here for the next 2 months until when they are ready for producing or breeding. That's when we shall take them to the breeding ponds. Currently they are feeding on mash, as you can see, because they have not yet reached the stage of pellets. The feeding, we do it thrice a day. And we feed them on 4 kilos per meal. So that is a total of 12 kilograms per day. And we have a total of 800 fish inside this pond. We are to keep them, and after a while we are going to separate them. The males will be separate, the female will be separate for a while of around a month again as we feed them. That will be now ready for the breeding. We shall take them now to the breeding ponds where we shall set them, and in a period of 21 days we shall be ready to have the flies or the babies.
This is the tilapia breeding pond. Tilapia is stocked in here at a ratio of 1 to 3, whereby when you stock 3 females, you will need to add only 1 male. Currently, the pond is home to 750 tilapia fish. At this stage, Alan emphasizes a lot of caution on frogs since this is the most delicate stage.
From the reservoir, as you've seen of late, when we came from there, we came to this now. This is the breeding pond. The breeding pond, this is where now we set them ready for breeding. What we do here, we put them at a ratio of 1 to 3. That is when you put one female, when you put like 3 females, you have to give them 1 male. That is a ratio of 1 to 3. So here currently we have 750 fish. That is 250 males, and then the 500 are females. They will, once you set a breeding pond, but before you set the breeding pond, you have to make sure you are free from frogs, because now this is the most delicate area whereby you'll have the fries. Our main reason of breeding, because we do the selling of fries. Now, you have to ensure that the pond is limed. You put lime. The pond is dry for 3 days without water. You just restrict from any other prey that can cause the loss of fries. At this stage, the feeding ratio changes from day 1. When you feed them, when you've just stocked, you'll feed them at on 4 kilos per meal. After a week, obviously, it will drop to 2 kilos per meal. Reason being, in the breeding, the female put the eggs in the mouth. That's where the eggs are hatched from. Unlike the hens, where the hens sit on the eggs, the fish carry their eggs in the mouth.
These here are the nursing ponds. The production of fingerlings is the business on this farm, and any damage to them equally affects the income brought in by the farm.
The nursing ponds, why we put them there is the nursing ponds are restricted. We have covered them with nets. We don't want any other frogs because these fries are what we market out. Now, these frogs keep reducing the number of fries. These frogs keep feeding on the fish, on the feeds. So you find that you feed a highest percentage goes to the frogs and what.
To someone that has already placed the fingerlings order, this is the process that they will have to undergo before they reach to your farm.
Now, this is now when we are harvesting the fries. This is a fry net. It only gets the fries, it cannot get the big fish. So this is the process we call the harvesting process. In case you need to, when you've got a buyer, you just have to sample it out. So this is where they grow from till when you get an order. When someone gives an order, you have to take them to the conditioning tanks now, whereby they are conditioned for 3 days. The conditioning of fish, you don't give them food for the 3 days. The reason for conditioning is because we don't know where you'll be taking them, and maybe they will move long distances. Maybe the water where you'll take them will not be the same as this, so they will have to be a little bit stressed.
This here is the parent pond that is home to the mothers. Alan will do a sampling of some of the mothers to see if they are ready to transfer to the breeding pond.
Yeah, these are the parents actually. We're sampling out the parents. Then we can see whether they still have eggs or not, whether they are ready for transfer to another pond to be set, to start the breeding in another pond actually. They have already hatched them, yeah. But to those which have not hatched, you'd find them with eggs.
In this pond, the farm is keeping another fish species called the Miller capaticula for breeding purposes. Unlike the tilapia and catfish, this is a delicate type of fish to deal in.
Now, this pond we have the other variety of fish which we call the miracaps. Miracaps are actually a very good variety of fish. They grow very fast. They are very sweet. Once you taste the miracap, I think you'll even end up not eating the other species. Miracap we actually do the miracap breeding as well here. Though the miracap breeding is more technical, you have to do a lot and a lot. Miracap is just more like the tilapia, though miracap has very few scales, and it's always golden in color. It's golden in color, and its breeding, it's not the same as the one of tilapia. That's why at most cases you find miracaps are very expensive.
This pond here belongs to the catfish. The breeding of the catfish, unlike the other types of fish kept here, is done in the hatchery. This is their broodstock pond. We managed to harvest one catfish that we took to the hatchery to witness how the hatching process is done on this farm.
This is the catfish pond. Unlike tilapia, catfish needs deep waters, and what we do here is the breeding of catfish, but this is now like the broodstock pond. We keep them here until when we need them, we fish them out, take them into the hatchery. That's where we do the breeding of the catfish. The breeding of catfish, we do them from the hatchery. We put a few tilapias inside here because we need the catfish to grow, and they feed also on the tilapias. They feed on the tilapia. As the tilapia keep on producing, they also feed on the babies of the tilapia, because food alone cannot satisfy them.
Step by step, inside this house, Alan takes us through this eye-catching exercise that left the agribusiness crew amused at how a local hatchery can operate to produce thousands and thousands of fish to the farmers.
Here now we are doing the breeding of catfish. As you can see, with catfish, what we do, we get a hormone from one of the fish. That is if you don't have the hormone. Currently it is out of stock, but now we are going to use the pituitary gland of one of the fish. We inject it into the female so that we can get the eggs to be ready. The hormone, why we inject it into the female fish, is to make the eggs ready for stripping. Now, as the process is doing now is he wants to get the pituitary gland, which is the hormone, going to be injected into the fish, the female fish, and which will make the eggs get ready for stripping out. It is a very tiny object, whereby you have to be very careful with it. Yeah, it is something very tiny, and that's how it looks. It can just... Okay. So that's the only thing we need. That will help it to make will help the female fish to make the eggs get ready very fast. So what you do, you crush the gonads. You crush the pituitary gland, and then you'll have to inject it into the female. Yeah, now that one is ready to be injected into the female fish, or the female catfish. For every kilo of the female catfish, you inject 0.5 mils of the hormone. You don't need to stress it actually. You don't need to stress it, so it's being injected with the hormone. Now from here, it's supposed to rest for 18 hours under warm temperatures of between 25 to 30 degrees. After the 18 hours, the eggs will be ready to be stripped out. So when the eggs are ready after the 18 hours, the fish will be ready to produce the eggs with much ease. You'll strip them into a bowl, the eggs. Actually, the female will have to survive. In this state, only males have to die. After stripping the females, they'll have to go back to the ponds for feeding for some time, then they gain back. Now these gonads are the ones you get out, and then you've already stripped your eggs into a bowl. You get these gonads, you have to clean them actually with sterile water as well. So once you've stripped the eggs, you actually sprinkle the fluid you get out of the gonads. The gonads have to be clean before you actually squeeze the fluids out of them. As you can see, it's already creating a fluid, or the sperms. So after the fertilization process, this is where you sprinkle the eggs. We sprinkle the eggs here. This water temperature should be between 25 to 30 degrees. They will be here for more 16 to 18 hours, whereby now you'll be ready to get the fries.
Coming back to Martin, he praises his workers that seem to have great science and information when it comes to fish breeding. We never had to hold or question on how the farm acquires and carries out its human resource.
I personally believe, and I wrote a statement sometime and I said, the quality of life people live depends on the information they have and how they apply it. So if you want, you know what you want, you look for the quality human resource. And personally, I value that.
At the Bamukwase Fish Farm, their dream is to be the leading producers of fingerlings in the country. After carrying out research that gave them more fish farmers than breeders, they decided to invest in the fish seed instead. The end to their journey in the fish breeding business seems to lie miles away.
Our dream is to become the best fish producers of fingerlings in the country. Because we know that there are so many people who are growing fish, but where are they getting fish? Our research shows, our study shows that people go to Kajansi to find the fish, and most time they don't have.
Thank you so much for being a great viewer of this NBS Agribusiness episode tonight. I am Violet Namata, and on behalf of the entire team, keep watching NBS TV.